Okay.
Been here. I'm Rodney, and just like Sensei said, I'm just looking for financial literacy to continue, and I'm also looking to continue my credit rebuild. Just gain a few more tidbits of information just to allow me to continue that journey, and just basically fortify my financial goals moving forward.
Very cool. Okay. Angelique, do you want to get started?
Miss Allegra?
Yep.
We have a person, Lavita. She says she's waiting to get in.
I got her. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Everybody in?
Everybody in? All right, let's move forward. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and working with the technical issues that we had. But basically, just wanted to support our small business owners. And, I work with the Villard Avenue Business Improvement District here in the city of Milwaukee. We are a coalition of businesses within a geographic area, and we, the business owners and building owners over there get a special assessment on their taxes, and that money is used for the actual business owners to recycle funds into their district the way they would like to. So as you all know, we all pay taxes to the city of Milwaukee, but we really don't get to dictate how they spend the money, or, what neighborhood is a priority. So we decide that we want to make sure that it's a priority to scale up our small business owners so that they're and individuals to help you better prepare for being in a storefront and those different things. So you can find out more about that later, but basically want to introduce to you guys Villard Avenue Connections, where we connect you guys with professionals that are in your community, that are knowledgeable, who can help you get to where you want to be business-wise. So our first one, without further delay, I want to introduce to you guys Miss Allegra Delise.
Hey, Angelique, thank you.
Hey, Allegra, thank you for volunteering, and especially during Black History Month, as a Black woman, to throw your hat in the ring and say, hey, I'd like to help support our community. I have these skills, so why don't you just tell us about yourself and what motivated you to help people improve their finances?
Okay. So, I feel as though, did I mute you, Angelique?
No, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. We lost you for a second, but you're back. Okay. I think credit is one of those things that confuses people. I started out in finance. I did mortgages. I was like 23 years old and I was doing mortgages, and then I started flipping houses, and then I started buying properties. And right about the time I graduated from Marquette, the market tanked. And so I really believed that I was like well on my way to being a millionaire. Like I was convinced that that was going to happen. And the market crashed and the bottom fell out. And I found myself, about 25 with 7 properties and underwater on most of them because I had made some pretty poor decisions, just thinking about money on the front end and not longevity. And I'm super thankful. It's a funny thing how put a little bit of time in between situations and you become thankful for the circumstances. But, looking back, I'm so thankful that I learned all those lessons in the early part of my life. And so I've always been really transparent about what I went through so that I can help other people, because nobody would look at me and be like, that girl had 7 foreclosures. Like you wouldn't think that, right? And so nothing is always as it seems and nobody's perfect. And so I completely destroyed my credit. So I think when I started buying properties, I was about maybe close to a 700. I tanked my score. It went all the way down to like a 515. It was very embarrassing. I ended up getting every single foreclosure off of my credit report myself because I didn't have any money to pay anybody. I was like, graduated, had all this student loan debt, did not listen to my mother and pay my student loans while I was in school. I was like, whatever, I'll pay them later. But it all, it took time, but I was able to rebound. My credit score is well into the 700s now. There's nothing that I can't walk in anywhere and get at this point in my life. And so the passion of wanting to help other people not feel how I felt. It's a very defeating feeling being like, I have a 500 credit score. But the great news is that's about as low as you can go. So it can only go up from there. And so I think that people are more trusting of someone who's been there. Like if you've been rock bottom and you've been down that road, it's a lot easier for someone to understand than somebody that's, on the internet posting them in a private jet. And it's like, you don't get it. You can't relate. And even if you can, I'm embarrassed, So I think that's what's really kind of pushed me back to helping people with dealing with their credit issues and things like that.
Wow. That's an amazing testimony and extremely.
Thank you.
It's extremely humble of you to be willing to share that, I went up and came back down, but I pulled myself back up. And that's how I'm able to, share with you guys what it took to get, to rebuild and reestablish. So thank you for that. So let's dive right in. Basically, a lot of entrepreneurs are looking to scale up their business, even establish business credit, position themselves to be able to qualify for financial support programs or to help them grow their small business. So ultimately, what would you say to them, people, just individuals who want to get their situation first? What do they need to know?
The first and most important part of establishing business credit is to get your personal credit together, because no matter what anyone says about building business credit, these banks are not messing with you if your personal credit is not good, because they're going to say, if you couldn't manage yourself, then how are you going to manage this business? And so they're not going to give you, 100,000 or 250 or whatever for your business if your personal credit is in shambles. And so the most important thing is to really look at your situation. If you can't figure it out, seek help and see who can help you to get in a better position. It takes baby steps and sometimes it takes time. There can be some quick fixes when there are things that need to be removed from your credit report. They can come off. If you've ever filed bankruptcy, that can come off of your credit. So there's always a way to do things. There's always a way to be strategic about it as well. And everybody's credit situation is different. The most important thing you can do, if nothing else, pay all of your current bills on time. So anything that's on your credit report, if you have a car note, pay that on time. If you have a mortgage, pay that on time. Those are your top two things that you should be focused on. If you have any credit cards, pay them on time. I would rather see someone pay their credit card on time than go back and pay an old debt to get it cleaned up. If you have to make a choice between the two, keep your current financial picture as positive as you can, because we can always do a letter of explanation and explain something that happened in the past, but if you just didn't pay your credit card last week, it's really hard to explain why we should give you this mortgage in a month if last week you couldn't pay Capital One $63. Do you know what I'm saying? So anything that you have that you're, grateful enough to have right now, pay for it and keep being consistent with those on-time payments, because that's what's going to build your credit. We can always clean up credit history and things that are in the past, but the right now is the picture that you want to paint as favorably as possible.
Thank you. That's extremely important. I can definitely say I do recall times where I think my first experience with a credit card was at UWM, and first generation, low income, somebody was in the UWM student union offering us free pizzas from the local Domino's across by UWM. And we were just on campus. We were hungry. We just signed our names and got a voucher, went to the Domino's. And then a month later, I ended up with a credit card with like a $2,000 limit. And it was, it changed my life, and not necessarily for the good. So I can concur from personal experience that that is definitely an essential basic right there. And I think that that's fair for businesses because they often get people who come to them and talk about financial wellness and they get overloaded. But for them to just focus on that, I think that's amazing. So you spoke of business credit. You know, how can you know, individuals and entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, improve their credit situation more so to support where they want to go with business? Like, how can you, what can they, I mean, if they're paying off, if they're currently working on their personal situation, is there anything that they should do, any moves that they should make business wise?
Yes. So what I would do while you're working on your personal credit is it's tax time. So take $1,000, put it into a business account in your business name. Do not touch that money. Leave it there. And what happens is you create a relationship with the bank that's based on you being able to be trusted, and you can keep money in an account. And in a year, I know 12 months seems like a long time, but I swear we went through that pandemic real fast. Well, we're still in it, but last year like just flew by. So the best time to start is now. So you put the money in there. 12 months from now, you'll go sit down with your banker. You're also at the same time keeping your personal credit, your personal accounts, not overdrafting, keep all those things above board. And if you have a situation where you just kind of, you know, you might have a little bit of a struggle, see if you can keep 500 in an account, have your struggle somewhere else at a credit union or whatever. But for this particular bank, maintain a very clean relationship with them on the personal side and the business side. And so what you're going to do is you're going to sit down with the banker and you're going to say, you know, hey, I'm really interested in getting a small business line of credit. This is what I do. This is, you know, what my business looks like. These are what my sales look like. How can I, you know, obtain some credit? And they'll say, okay, well, we can start you out with, you know, something small. And they may give you a small credit card, $500 or $1,000 for your business, but it's something. The other thing that you can do, even before you do that, before the 12 months is up, maybe about 6 months or so in, you can get a gas card for your business. And it might have a $300 to $1,000 limit, but it's something. Pay it off every month and use that whenever you're filling up your card. And so what that does is it gives you the tax write-off for your gas. And then it also helps you to start building your credit. You're going to need a Dun & Bradstreet number. So just go on their website, fill out their information, and that's how you'll get the number generated. So you want to do that right away as well. And then once you've got the gas card and once you get something from your bank, then you can go get like a Home Depot credit card or a Lowe's credit card. And so once you do that, that gives you an opportunity to really start to expand your reach, because what'll happen is business credit, they start approving you for 15 and 20,000 lines of credit, credit cards, things like that. And it's generally much higher than those first little credit cards you get on your personal credit. And then it also gives you the opportunity to separate between your business and your personal, so you're not all muddled, because your personal credit will get quickly exhausted by your debt to income ratio. And what that means is how much debt you have versus how much income you have coming in. And if it doesn't balance out, you'll hit a cap and you won't have any more, you won't be able to tap into any more credit for your business. So it's really advantageous of you to start separating things now. And your accountant will thank you for it, because they be ready to kill us when we come in with like our grocery bag full of receipts. Like, I don't know, you figure it out. So yeah. Angelique, did someone have a question?
I do, Allegra.
Sure.
So I recently started my business, Raise Resources, and it's a tip agency services here in the local Milwaukee area to,
Mhm.
to provide qualified candidates to local daycares, home health care facilities, and also group homes.
Okay.
And I have my EIN number and I have my LLC. I have been in the process of getting my Duns and Bradford number.
Yep.
Now, when I do that, will that give me the more, I guess, platform to apply for business credit? And is that something that is really needed for me to do that?
That will give you a strong foundation to apply for business credit. I absolutely would, because this is where you got to start somewhere, right?
Okay.
I definitely recommend doing the bank account and putting some money in there, but I would start out with seeking a corporate gas card.
Okay. Yep. I do have my business account.
Okay.
I have all that together. It's just I don't have my Duns and Bradford
Get
information.
get the number first. It shouldn't take that long. Are they having difficulties because of COVID? Because I haven't done one in a bit. But if
Yes.
okay,
It's been a while because I opened my resource firm in the beginning of this year.
okay.
And every time I go to the website, it's either crashing or, someone will say that they'll get back to me as soon as possible. So I've been trying to reach out on a daily so I can stay on top of it, but I
Okay.
haven't had any success, but I will try again tomorrow.
See if you can get a mailing address for them and send them a certified letter. See if you can. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more and reach back out to you, because, like I said, I haven't personally done one in a while, especially with everything that's going on. But you could also send them a certified letter with an information of what they would be requesting, like if they have an online application or something like that, and then
Okay.
they'll be required to get back with you. One thing I want to share with everyone in terms of credit reporting agency, whether it's Dun and Brad or whether it's Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, LexisNexis, SageStream, all of those are credit bureaus. If you probably didn't know about SageStream or LexisNexis, but we'll dig into that a little bit more. Right now, because of the stimulus packages, ever since they did the CARES Act, and I've really watched this very closely and like read over the legal jargon that's in there, they've been given more time to respond to anything that we send them. So it used to be where, we could hit them pretty aggressively and get things off your credit in 18 to 30 days. They're giving them like an extra 15 days and they're taking advantage of every bit of that. So what was 30 is now 45. And so, but it also puts a lot of things in place and protections for people who are consumers, which that's great for us. And so I want to give you guys just one little tip in terms of how credit is being treated right now and what that means for you and how you can best benefit. So if you have a car payment, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but you can put 3 payments on the back end of your loan. That's whether you have a loan or a lease. You just call them and say, now don't call anybody and tell them I had coronavirus unless you had it. Just say, I was affected by COVID-19 or I was affected by coronavirus. You need to say those exact words because it's literally like an open door at that point. If you don't say it, if you call and tell them you had every struggle in the book, they're gonna be like, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm really sorry to hear that. There's nothing I can do to help you. As soon as you say coronavirus or COVID-19, they're like, ding, okay, bet. So they'll ask you if you want to put one payment on the back end or what you want to do, say all 3. Now, if you have the money to continue paying the payment, and this is specifically critical for people who have a car loan, not a car lease, and I'm gonna explain why. If you have a car loan, that means you have financing charges of some sort. Unless you got a 0% interest loan, which I doubt, even if you got 2%, you still have some financing charges. So when you put those payments on the back end of your loan and then yet still pay them, the entire car payment, so whether, let's say it's $500 a month, that whole $500 goes towards your principal balance on what you owe on your car, and you're gonna pay it off that much faster because it's not hitting the interest first, it's hitting the principal. The same thing is true for your mortgage. So you could take 3 payments and put them on the back end of your loan, still pay your mortgage. Anything that you pay, even if it's above and beyond. So let's say your income is great right now and you're thriving, pay extra during that 3 months. Every single dime that you pay during that time goes towards your principal and not your interest. It'll make a huge difference for you. In terms of mortgages, and this is just general, if you pay an extra payment at the beginning of the year and an extra payment at the end of the year, you will pay your mortgage off 7 years faster. So those are things to think about when you're deciding what to do with your money. Now, if you have a really high credit card balance and you take those 3 payments and put them on the back end, take that money and pay down your credit card debt. Or if you have a car lease, it's not going to matter whether you pay it now or pay it later. You're still going to have to get them that money before you turn the car back in. But if you can use that money now to pay something else that's kind of weighing you down a little more heavily with a higher interest rate, like, a credit card with a 20% interest or something like that, take that money, that $1,500, and pay that down instead. So just to make a smart decision in order to put yourself in a better financial position when we come out of this pandemic. Did anyone else have a question? Okay, Angelique.
Sorry, I lost the mute button.
Yeah.
That you just dropped some jewels. That was amazing. Thank you for that. I even took some notes in the meantime. So, I'm curious to find out. When we were initially talking, you spoke upon insurance. And that you wanted to mention that. What was it that you wanted to share with us about insurance?
So there are 2 critical things about life insurance in particular. And life insurance is really important. We know we all need to have that. Like, we get that, right? The thing about life insurance is this. First of all, have life insurance outside of your job. The reason being, the average person changes jobs every 2 to 3 years. And statistics show that you should, because it increases your worth, because when you leave one job and go to another, they pay you more for coming over, like, oh, we want you, and then you kind of boost your salary. The thing about that, though, is that when you switch jobs, oftentimes you may be in a situation where your insurance doesn't kick in right away. So if something were to happen to you, your family is left with nothing. The other thing is, if you get fired from a job, you won't have any insurance. So you must get and keep a life insurance policy that protects your family, and you have to have that. It is imperative as an adult. And if you can't afford a whole life policy, go get a term policy for like $250,000, and you might pay, in your 30s, you might pay $35-40 a month if you're a non-smoker. And it may even be a little bit cheaper than that if you're in really good health. So it's just not worth it not to have it. Like, there's just no excuse. I don't see my insurance payment come out of my account. Like, I don't see it. Like, it's been coming out of my account so long, and I've had that policy like forever. Like, since I was in my 20s and I started like really making money, I'm like, let me just have something just in case. And so, we're not planning to go anywhere anytime soon, but we all got to go sometime. So definitely get some life insurance. The other thing about life insurance is that it is a wealth builder. So in other cultures, a lot of times, specifically in Hispanic cultures, specifically in Asian cultures, a lot of times they will have like a 90-year-old grandmother, and the insurance policy might be high as hell, but the whole family will chip in on it. And then when grandma passes, they'll bring her to the States to pass here. And when grandma passes, they're rolling, like they're in the millions. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a wealth builder for their community. And so it's something that we need to start thinking about, because nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody's so secretive about it. That myth that when you talk about those things, it brings them to pass. We all gonna go. So sit down with your families, especially we're in the middle of a pandemic. Sit down with your families, have those conversations that are so important. Make sure that everybody's covered. And the thing about it is, make sure your kids are covered. There's so much happening out here in these streets. Make sure your babies are covered, because you can get a rider on your own insurance policy for like $1 or $2 and cover your minor children. And so it's really important. And sometimes you can get them in policies that will convert over as they get older and into their own policy and things like that. And it just sets them up for life to have that. So it's something that you owe to your children, and as part of creating your legacy for them.
Wow, thank you. Mm-hmm. I actually have to concur. I do hear a lot of people are building wealth using that mechanism, using insurance to forward over. But I definitely think a entrepreneur, small business, you know, you're covering your business. You know, this could fall in the hands of your children or your beneficiaries. So thank you for that.
And also making sure you have enough. So
Oh, yeah.
if you have a mortgage, you've got minor children, and you have, you know, cars that aren't paid off yet, all of these things, you want to add up what your total, if you were to leave this earth today, how much would it cost to pay off that house so that whoever's going to raise your children, whether it be your spouse, parents, whatever, has somewhere to live. And then also, once you pay that off, what other bills need to be covered to make sure that these kids are going to be okay? And then what other ways do you want to provide for them? So be it their education or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Add up what it's going to look like and have enough insurance to cover, you know, to make that happen for them.
Okay. Thank you for that. Again, you just dropping plenty of jewels, and we appreciate it. Everybody that's here live with us, we appreciate you guys being here. Please don't forget to drop your questions in the chat. And I guess, you know, I'm really curious because I got this book for, you know, your new book, and I wanted to give it as a gift to one of the participants tonight. And what I noticed immediately when I opened the book after I read your foreword, it literally starts out with budgeting. And I thought that was really perfect and fitting. So with that being said, I also was reading that you spoke about spiritual wellness. So I'm curious to find out if you could, you know, what that means to you. Could you elaborate on what you meant about that? Because I'm curious.
Absolutely. So in terms of spiritual wellness, for me, I believe that the book, the journal is called A Year of Opulence.
Yes.
And so just to give you a little bit of background, I always choose a word for the year. Okay. That's my thing. And so last year's word was alignment. And so my life literally was like upside down, just a whole hot mess of things that transpired, most of which was out of my control completely. And I just kind of went with the flow. And last year ended up being amazing for me. So I moved to Atlanta. I quit my job that I hated. I started over, and I'm so much happier. And this is not I'm so much happier I'm out of Milwaukee. That's not it. I'm so much happier for me in where I am in my life. And so it has given me the opportunity to use my creative energy to, you know, really just focus on the goals that I have for myself professionally, you know, my businesses, all of these things. And so the most important piece that I learned through the process of everything that I went through spiritually last year and just trying to find like my place was just about like really, you know, focusing and meditating, and how it's so important to be in tune with yourself and in tune with the universe so that you can know like what it is that you need and want and what it is that you have to give to the world. And so it's really important, number one, that you give back to other people. And so throughout the journal, there are different like little challenges and prompts for each day. And so it's like, you know, give somebody flowers today, give something to a stranger today, buy something from a friend's business today, do something for someone else, reach out to someone and tell them why you admire them, things like that, because you have to pour into each other. And so it's like, you want money coming into your life. And so you want to be giving and gifting because that's how it comes back to you. I can remember Oprah saying, whatever it is that you give away, you'll have a lot of. And I was giving away like bags and bags and bags of clothes because I had lost a bunch of weight. And then I looked up and I'm like, where are all these clothes coming from? I swear to God, they're like having babies. And so I started giving away money. I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, it really starts to multiply and come back to you very, very quickly. The other thing that I want you to remember is that our blessings rarely come from where we bestow them. And that's something that my mother instilled in me, because I always feel like life's not fair. It's not fair. I wanted this and they didn't do this, or they didn't, it's not fair that they would treat me that way, or things like that. And the reality is, most people that you pour into don't pour back into you. It's very rare to find that reciprocal relationship. And when you do, that's like your tribe. So when you find those people, you snatch them up and you hold on to them for dear life, because those people that pour back into you and that you feed each other, that's an amazing transference of energy that can only create more synergy and more opportunities. And so my friend Stacy I'm talking about, has my back, honey. And so
Yes.
get those people in your life, you value them. But also, just thinking in terms of circulating money within our community, shopping with Black businesses. Look at your Cash App. Where's your money going? How many times are you supporting and sending money to Black businesses and paying for things that way? And so when I looked, I think it was last year, I was like, dang, all my extra money is going to Black women, And so think about those things and being mindful about what you can do and how you can be a benefit. So whether it's committing for gifts for the holidays, committing to spending that money with Black owned businesses, that's one way to do it. And just making sure that you're always giving back. And then the spiritual piece of just being in alignment with yourself. And so that means dealing with trauma, dealing with, things that have haunted you, shadow work, so to speak, and really examining the things that have plagued you and your family, generational curses. And then once you process and work through those things, it puts you in a place where it's so much easier. Like your blessings and doors just open for you once your life is in alignment. And so being able to maintain that is a whole lot easier than the climb to get to that. And so I would encourage people to just take some time spiritually for yourself, meditate, identify the areas in which you have issues. If there's jealousy there, if there's something that you're, upset with somebody about, have the conversation, get it out in the open, talk about it, heal from it. And that doesn't necessarily mean letting that person back in your life. It just means resolving the issue either with them or within yourself. And so all of those things play a part in your spiritual health, because if you have things weighing you down, how are you supposed to be high energetically in order to receive?
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, in terms of financial wellness, you don't really hear people talk to other people like that in as far as taking care of themselves. And what you said, that's part of your spiritual and your wellness is you know cooperative economics, or not even just cooperative economics too. You spoke of that, but pouring into people like what we're doing. We just, take the time out to share the knowledge that we've picked up along the way. And also, to be open and feel okay to receive. I think sometimes, especially, Black people and BIPOC people, we don't always accept, people pouring into us because, we have a lot of things that, that are being said about, a lot of stereotypes about us already, that you're already getting this support, or you're already getting that support. And, to think that you're not worthy of being poured into is definitely a disservice to yourself. You have to be open to and willing to receive the support that people have for you. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you about being open to receiving support. And what I want you to understand about when someone wants to do something for you, no matter how small it can be, don't be ungrateful. And so this is a little bit of a funny story about gratefulness and how it prepares you to receive more. So there was this insurance policy that my grandmother had, and the insurance company was like sweating my entire family in Detroit about this money, right?
Right.
And we have to pay this out to Letha, or we need to give it to her heirs. So And my mother and my grandmother had the same name, right? So they're like going crazy. And they were, I guess the insurance policy was on my uncle. So my cousin is calling me his son, and he's like, hey, he was like, they want to get the money to your mom, and your mom must have had the policy on my dad. And so we're like, oh my God, it's this money. Like, let's just see what it is, whatever. And so my sister was all in the mix. And so I just kind of like stepped back. And this was when I first moved here. And so she calls me one day and she says, well, I got the check from the insurance company. And I was like, oh, really? And because I had kind of like stepped away from it and forgot about it. My sister don't forget about no money, let me tell you.
Right.
So they were like, she was like, yeah, it was $10. And I was like, what? And she was like, it was $10. And I was like, she was like, so I'm going to cash app you your $5. And so somewhere in my mind, I was thinking in my head, like, girl, she don't keep that $5, right? Like, this is what. But I said, okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because she didn't have to tell me. She could have just kept it. And I was like, I appreciate that. Thank you. And so the thing about being grateful is that when you have gratitude for every single thing that you receive, you're telling the universe, I want more of this. And so I promise you, from that moment where I was like grateful for this $5, like money just started coming to me from everywhere. And I think a lot of it was like moving lifted a lot of stress off my shoulders, like obligations and familial obligations and things like that. But also, so de-stress, whatever you have to do to de-stress, that's an important part. Like self-care is a critical piece of financial wellness. Don't let nobody tell you different. You cannot work yourself to death.
That's right.
and enjoy it. So, but being healthy and being focused on that is really important. But also it just got me into a place of like, whatever it is, I'm grateful for it. So anything that somebody does for me, I'm super, super grateful. So it doesn't always have to be something monetary though. Like people,
Right.
will give you things, they'll give of their time, all of these things. And so it's really important to be grateful for people and be grateful for all the blessings, because all it does is open more doors. So,
Right.
And if you can't think of a meditation or a prayer, walk through your house and just say thank you for everything in it. And I promise you more things are, and literally, and it's not that I necessarily am at a loss for words, but I just did a meditation of gratitude. And literally my angel investor reached out to me today and was like, hey, so I wasn't even giving anybody any money for anything right now, but I really want to talk to you Friday because I love this business plan and I got to be a part of this. And so people will open doors for you that they have completely closed.
Right.
So gratitude is critically important.
Wow. All I can say is thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's, small things are big things. I think it just depends on where you're coming from, or, but you have to look at it. I mean, sometimes I'm in that position on Villard Avenue when I'm doing a beautification project, right? Like, so like this summer, we did the Villard, the visual vibes on Villard, a huge, like 7 building mural project to beautify and bring public art. And so while for me, and it was my ED who basically got me off of like the low place, because I was like, we need funding, we need infrastructure, we need some state and federal funds to redesign. We don't even have bike lanes for people to ride their bikes. And, so I'm on this whole thing. And she's like, there's a place for the heavy lifting, and then there's a place for the low hanging fruit. That's low hanging fruit for you. This might be an easier project for you to do something on beautification versus infrastructure. But this is going to be amazing for the people and the residents and businesses that have been over there for so long and seen so much disinvestment in their community, to know that their community is revitalizing and coming back. Art and all the small projects are just as big. So I think even AARP has a grant called Small Dollar Big Impact, and so we wrote for that grant, and I was happy for that $1,000. It was a over a $50,000 project in total, but that $1,000 from AARP was just as valuable as the $25,000 anonymous gift from the anonymous donor. So that's my story about being grateful. So I'm glad that you appreciate that you share it first.
Yeah, it's so important. Thank you for sharing that though, because it really does affect other people. And I think that's a part of the butterfly effect, where the very small things that you do can change the world. And so if I walk out my front door and I make a commitment to smile at everybody I see, and then that person feels that love and support and they carry that on and it brightens their day. And so it's just literally the butterfly effect concerning gratitude and finances, and it all like makes so much sense.
You're right. Look, you're right about a lot, and definitely, I really just appreciate that you took the time out to talk with us and talk with me and share with everybody. Um, I'm just happy to be a part of helping anything. These things are exciting for me too, because I'm excited for a person. I'm not excited to take a person who's not ready and put them in a storefront and watch everything fail. I would rather for them to meet with, just get excited about building their finances in this type of format, and then be able to know that they can reach out to you and, utilize your services to really get them to where when we put them in a storefront, we can also put them in front of, funders as well. And they're not all loans. We have grants and things too. So this is extremely important to me, as far as just we want to scale people up. So I'm here with you, boots on the ground. So that being said, I would like to take a moment. Um, yeah, I want to actually ask like my last major question. I think
Okay.
this is my last major question because it's kind of comprehensive, I would say. So
Okay.
take all the time you need. But I want to know what are the pitfalls that people should avoid, um, and some tips and tricks. 'Cause I think that it's you've already spoken on some things of what not to do, but I think that's just as important as telling people what they should do, what they should avoid too. Because I feel like I learned, third party through other people sharing me what mistakes they made, so I don't have to go out there and you know both of us take a fall. So could you share with us, I guess, whichever one you want to take on first, either the pitfalls um or tips and tricks. It's up to you.
So what to avoid? High
Hey
interest.
Coco.
She joins every meeting in some form or fashion. High interest car loans. Try to avoid if you can, um, because it puts you in a really, really bad position when you're paying, $600-700 for, you know, a 3 or 4 year old like Altima. That's not a good investment, because if it doesn't last you longer than what you're paying, you're starting out upside down on the car. And so it's better if you can just take a breather, figure out what's going on with your credit, seek help for that, and get your score up, because they love to see you come in with like a 500 begging for a car, because they have you right in the palm of their hands and they're going to take full advantage of you, and you're going to be happy in the moment, and then when that first car payment comes, it's going to kill you, and it's going to kill you every month. And so it's better for you to wait, fix what's going on with your credit, and then go back when you're in a better position to bargain and then get what you really want. Because it's nothing like paying for something and you don't want to drive it, no way. So much better when you're paying for what you really do want to drive. It doesn't hurt you. And I can remember when I got my first Mercedes, and a friend of mine was like, "How do you feel about that?" And I was like, "I don't even mind paying for it." And so it's one of those things where the things that you bring into your life, feel good about them, because it only brings more positivity. So when you get in a car every day and you feel bad about driving it, and then things start to happen, then that's kind of the universe like, I hate this car, and then it's like, well, now you need this, you know what I'm saying? And so it just becomes a cyclical thing of a pattern, when you could have just waited and put yourself in a better position on the front end. So take the low road so you can take the high road. You muted yourself, Angelique.
Oh, right. I was just saying, right. You're right. I don't want to didn't want to interrupt. You can Oh, are those the main tips and tricks and pitfalls? I just want to make sure you were done. I was just kind of.
In terms of purchasing a home, NACA, go through NACA. They have the best loan program in the United States. It doesn't matter if you're buying, a modest 2-bedroom property or a $1 million home. They still have great loan programs, and they give you opportunities to buy down your rate. I mean, you literally could buy a duplex and your tenant is paying your mortgage and you're not paying anything. It puts you in a great financial position, and they make sure that the property that you're buying is in good shape. That loan program is amazing. So go online, fill out the little form. There's a Saturday class. I'm not sure if they're hosting through Zoom or if they're doing like socially distance, but it's worth it to go spend the 4 hours there and get the certificate, because when you're ready to buy, it really will position you. So anyone who at the beginning said, I'm looking for a house, go through NACA for sure, without question.
Okay. Hey, look, somebody in the chat, Constance, said to everybody, yes.
Yeah.
So that's new to me. So I'm learning with you guys. Like, this is just, all of us. So I'm going to definitely do some research on that. I did not have the traditional path to home ownership. I actually was in low income housing. So this was at the time where the HACM, the city of Milwaukee, actually opened up the housing authority to allow single people without children to get inside of their, and they only did it for like 7 years, or maybe 8 years or so. And that's how I was able to get through college and have subsidized bills and whatnot. And they had a home ownership program where they also give you, I got $23,000 towards my first purchase. And let me tell you, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm not a wealth builder, but I have picked up a couple of nuggets along the way, and I think you would agree this was decent. So I came out of low income housing. While I was in there, they paid for me to take a home ownership program. So whatever that cost, they covered that. Then they paid for me to take, at the time it was being offered by WIBIC, and it might still be around, but it was called Make Your Money Talk. And they paid for me to take this financial literacy, which is, like a group, so it wasn't like, what our participants can do. They can, speak to you individually and have a little bit more privacy. But, and I know that I could have that with WIBIC, but the class setting was a group setting. But anyway, so that we learned about financial literacy, and at the end of the session, they opened up IDA accounts for us. So these individual development, is that what it's called? Individual development accounts. So this was new to me, but they were matching funds. So at that time, they matched every dollar you saved with 2, and you could save up to 2,000. So you could save up to 2,000. They matched it with 4, which made me, I had $6,000 to move into a house out the gate. So you can use it for down payment, and you might want to get some furniture, whatever. It's my first time. I was coming out of an efficiency type of apartment. I was living in the dome, the high rise across from Gordon Park.
The knitting factory lofts?
Huh?
The knitting factory lofts right there?
The Locust Court right off of Humboldt and Locust.
Okay, I know exactly.
Yeah, so but I'm gonna wrap my story up because it's not about my story, but just sharing with people, because we might have some people that are getting rent assistance or getting anything that has to do with the housing authority too. They have some good programs. So what I did was I found out they had a home ownership program. So it was some things though that I couldn't do with the funds that they were giving me. I had to actually purchase a rehabbed home from them if I wanted those extra funds. So they gave you up to 25,000. So I figured out, and I figured out how to get almost the max. I got 23,000. So the house that I bought was only for sale for $63,000, right? Guess where though?
Where?
In Harambe. It's being gentrified over here. These my property value went up $17,000 in a year, like since FISERV been finished. So I'm already at 75 now. Mind you, the house was 63. I only took out a $40,000 loan from US Bank. So, $40,000, and they gave me 23. That's how I paid for the house. So that was my non-traditional path too. So I'm you know, for a 3-bedroom single family house, I have like a $355 mortgage.
That's
So there
amazing.
it's some plugs out here. So that's my little plug. If you guys know anybody that's dealing with the housing authority, you know, I would love to you know, share about that, or just even I'll talk with you another, you know, later on too, just to kind of give you, because there's some more that went to that.
Mhm.
So yes, so while we're building all this excitement, I want, you know, we promised I want to give away this book. So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
So I want to, can you give me just close your eyes and choose a number 1 through 10?
7.
7. So 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sheena. Sheena's number 7. So Sheena, does she already, because she's the best friend, right? Does she have the book already?
No, I do not. I never win. I'm so excited.
Woohoo! Congratulations, Sheena. Wow. I mean,
Thank
how
you.
lucky was that? I promise y'all we did not set this up. That was sheer luck. I am not.
I chose 7 because that is my brother's birthday. So that's why I chose 7.
And I just went from the top of the screen. It's your name, my name, and I just counted. It's only fair. It's Constance, Lavita, Nikita, Sensore. You know, I just went in order. So, but yeah,
And my
it's super.
godson name is 7. Actually, my godson name is 7.
Oh wow. Okay. See, it was meant to
So I'm going to since you already know Allegra, I'm gonna get your information from her. And I'm gonna send this to you in the mail. Okay. So, wait. Who said it's rigged? Rodney.
be. Rodney, you better
This
buy
is
my
not
book.
rigged. This is not rigged. But you know what? For this book, the cost of this book, you're gonna eat that one day after work, stopping somewhere. So, you know, you see how I get down. I definitely, I have no problem supporting my friends and supporting just building my own wealth and building my community's wealth. So I'm here for the year of opulence, wealth, y'all. Wealth, like, you know, wealth in every aspect of your life. So I'm super excited for you. And you know, definitely congratulations for that. Um, so yeah, I want to, you know, just thank you for the wealth of knowledge. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing some of your tips and tricks that you know, that I'm hoping that you guys, we should have told you guys to take out a pen and a piece of paper, because she dropped those jewels, and so now she can drop some more, because you guys have the opportunity to be able to reach out to her. And so I wanted to ask if you you know, do you want, before we close out, did you want to leave us with some final thoughts or some information or ways that they can contact you?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much. There's a train that goes past my apartment. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that threw me off, like the train. Well, okay. All
Okay,
right.
so it's actually really peaceful to me, and it kind of sounds like white noise, but to other people, it's like, what is that? But I love living like right in the city of Atlanta, like I'm right in Atlantic Station, so it's awesome. But you can reach me at ayearofopulence.com. If you need credit repair, clearcreditcoaching.com. That website is literally going to be up on Thursday morning, so you'll be able to check me out there. If you need something credit wise, or just hit me on Facebook, hit my inbox. I'm pretty responsive. I have been, if there's anyone who is in Texas that is fearing a judgment from a high utility bill, I hope that you're all watching them very carefully. But I have been sending out a letter to freeze the credit bureau that will furnish that information or funnel it to the other credit bureaus. So it's kind of a little convoluted, but just if you need that information, please inbox me. I will email it to you. I promise you, I got back to so that status was shared almost, I think, 90 times. And I got back to every single person, and I personally emailed them the letter that they needed in order to keep that possibility of a judgment off of your credit report. So I just want anyone who needs that, if you're in Texas and you're feeling like you might get hit one of those $10,000 electric bills, we will not let that turn into a judgment. You can fight the debt. That I have nothing to do with, but in terms of keeping it off your credit report, I can assist. So hit my inbox, just shoot your email in there. You don't even have to do all the pleasantries and stuff. I know what you need. I know you mean well. Just if you put it in there, the faster I can copy and paste is the faster I can get it to you. In terms of, connecting with me, like I said, at yearofopulence.com, buy the book, the journal. I think it's amazing. It is truly a labor of love. I literally took out all of my journals and all of the shadow work and all of the things that I did last year, because I kept really good notes on what worked for me and what didn't in terms of meditation techniques, in terms of there's different products on there. There's crystals, there's herbs, there's oils, because I'm into all of that. There's spiritual bath, there's tea. I literally went and looked back at my notes, like what worked and what didn't, and what was positive and what came out of it and what were the outcomes. And I streamlined it down to what really is effective. And one of my most favorite tools is kind of, if you are a Christian, it's kind of like blessed oil, the opulence oil. There's real money in there. There's real gold in there. There's really expensive herbs in there. And so it's something that I've used as a manifestation tool that helped bring money into my life like crazy. And it's so funny. I saw somebody had posted this morning and said, "Hey God, that money we supposed to get when our right hand itch, we don't be getting it." And I laughed at it and I said, "Shoot, I be getting it. Money be coming, okay?" And so it's just been my experience that being able to get to a place of alignment and really being able to tap into abundance, when it was placed on my heart that I needed to share this with everybody. So take advantage, use me as a resource, reach out and connect. And you can join the Facebook group, A Year of Opulence, as well. And we're going to start doing some lives in there, and I'll be, talking to different people that are more well-versed in things like stocks and Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff that can give y'all some insight that I don't have, because that's not my lane.
Right.
But I thank you all for listening and for being here, as me and Angelique kind of muddle through this. It looks like we're frozen on Facebook.
Are we?
Yeah, it looks like we are. And I look crazy, but anyway.
No, you don't. No, that ponytail is giving me life, honey. If you flank it one more time, I'm gonna try to grab it.
So yeah, but it's been good, and it's been a good year, and I'm looking forward to 2021 being amazing for all of us. So yeah,
well, I'm excited. I think I've been getting so excited. I think I got the BFF wrong. Sheena, I caught it. I'm sorry. Stacy's the BFF. And Sheena won it. So Rodney.
No, it wasn't rigged.
Rodney, that can be rigged. Like I even got that wrong. Like I'm just saying. Like so. Anyways, this has been great. It's been fun, and you guys, the participants, you guys have made this. This is our first time trying to do this, so we had some technical difficulties. So we appreciate you guys for being patient with us. I want to ask something that I want to do. I learned this, and you guys, I'm not making it up, so feel free to do it if you want to do it. But something that I enjoyed doing was on these meetings as we close out. I wanted to ask. I wanted to just get a couple of you guys who are online to see if you could unmute yourselves and just share what is a takeaway that you guys got from tonight to share with Allegra, just to, we're talking about pouring into people. I think this is a good time to let people know that what they're sharing was meaningful. And so do we have any takers? I'm gonna mute. If not, then I'm coming back. Can you guys hear us? Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're well, I'm here, yes. I had a couple takeaways. One was the insurance portion. I have life insurance through my job, but I never thought about getting an extra policy on the side. I was just like, yeah, I got one on my job, so that's fine there. But so that was one takeaway. The NACA, that was another takeaway. Actually, the whole phone call was a takeaway for me. It's the phone call for me. So,
Oh.
so I appreciate the time you guys took to do this. So thank you. And thanks to Sister Ray for putting me on yesterday.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sequoia, and everybody that's here that pulled other people in to come get this info and go back and share. Anybody else want to share something that one of their takeaways?
The credit.
Raise my hand. Sorry, I put it up. I think I put it up a little bit late. I apologize. I'm running back and forth. I'm having a late dinner, but so I wanted to share my takeaway real fast. The paying on the principal balance of the car loan, that was a big one. I'm definitely going to try to implement that because that's something that you can get ahead of without even realizing that you're doing it. So I'm definitely going to implement that. That was a jewel and a half. So thank you very much for that one.
You're very welcome. Lavita.
That was going to be my thing too. I did actually I found out like a couple of weeks ago that I could put my payments on the back. I haven't tried it yet because I haven't needed to, but it was definitely something that was rare that I didn't know. So thanks for that. Even though, like I said, I just heard about it a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't know that, continuing to pay on it, that it would go towards the principal and not the interest.
Yeah. You're welcome. Good luck with that. I know it's going to work for you. It's tried and true. So take advantage, honey.
Anybody
Okay,
else?
so a takeaway for me was the mortgage payments. I actually have my NACA class this coming Saturday.
Yay.
But
That's
but
awesome. I'm so excited for you. How are they doing it? Is it Zoom or is it in person?
it's Zoom.
Okay, cool.
The mortgage payments. If you pay, I think you said if you pay additional payment at the beginning and the end of the year, you automatically knock 7 years off your mortgage. That was a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, it's just be consistent with it and keep doing it. If you can make an extra payment in the summer, which I don't know, sometimes your kids be at home eating you out of house and home in the summer, but whenever you can make an extra payment, but specifically if you can do those two, it'll put you in a better position. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. I'm just thankful.
Sorry.
Who else was that? I'm sorry.
Hey, this is Nikita.
Nikita.
I'm sorry, I'm late.
Sorry, Nikita.
Yeah, it's Nikita. So definitely it's all about wealth, but Allegra, you mentioned something very important about how important self-care is. Because none of this means anything if we don't take care of ourselves, right? Talking about the meditation and things like that was something that I really had to check myself on in the past few months. Because I don't take care of myself, none of those means anything. I really want to thank you for pointing that out.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
I want to say thank you so much for bringing us together for this Zoom meeting. But what I took away, I love that you mentioned NACA. I'm not a homeowner yet, but I get so I recently got so upset with my friend because I told her to go through NACA and she refused. I don't know if she forgot about it, but I instilled that in people. Go through NACA. Yes. Also, I liked how you mentioned the self-care as well as the $1,000 business. Putting $1,000 in the business account. I'm definitely gonna do that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Did we miss anybody? I'm still looking. Did everybody go?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Censor.
Is it possible that we keep in contact with you about the business information moving forward? Because I do want to start building my Duns at Bradford as soon as possible. I have everything else incorporated for my business, but I know that is very it's essential that is needed. And I wanted to know if we can stay in contact about that if possible.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. I have for everybody that registered, I will be emailing her that list. And I have it as well. So I also, when we have our next sessions, she spoke of life insurance as a wealth builder. Well, some of our other speakers, along with her, she even knows some of them. They'll be speaking on actually building wealth, and really protecting yourself as well in business. So we'll be talking about that. We're really going to get into, we're going to like kind of just do the basics and then really just allow people to start really plugging into professionals and get things rolling. But as we continue the series, we want to get deeper. We want to get so deep that we can have a whole discussion about trademarks. Are you infringing on somebody's trademark with your business name, etc.? But it's no point in talking about trademarks when we don't even have our finances together. You get what I'm saying? So this is really what we're trying to do, is really make sure that we're tailoring business education in a way that is going to be, received well by our communities, and well, they're actually be able to learn and utilize the tools that we're giving them. So both of everything that she is going to be doing, I hope to be there and be participating in the opulence room with you guys, any other activities that she has going on with her enterprise that she's building. And we'll keep you guys plugged in too. If you guys decide to stay in Milwaukee, I would love to help you guys find that storefront when you're ready. So, Stacy, just before we go, Stacy put the link in the chat, you guys, to Allegra's website, www.ayearofopulence.com. And so I'm gonna repost it too, unless she beats me. So I'll put that in the chat. And then also you guys can check more out about what we're doing on Villard Avenue. We're revitalizing our city from the inside out. So it's going to take the people that are from here, that look like and have the experience that our community, the experiences that, the issues that they're dealing with, that have experienced those things, to really try to, help progress everyone to the next level. I just want to, so I'm grateful for, mine is that I'm grateful for having this is my first opportunity out of being friends with you. I've always wanted to work with you. We were doing two completely different career tracks, and this is a beautiful thing to, I never saw it coming. As long as I've known you, that we'll be able to do some work together. So I hope that this is the first of many, and I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be first. And, I just hope it brings so much to the community and provides just a wealth of knowledge for people. So I'm excited to see. I know a few of the people that are coming behind me. I'm excited to hear from them and learn from them. And I know that they're so amazing and so intelligent and have so much to offer and to share. And I'm just hoping that everybody really taps into it and is able to receive it and enjoy it and learn from it and share it with other people so we can strengthen our community.
Well, thank you. I hope to have you back. And thank you all. We would just be talking to each other probably without you guys being here. So we're happy that we have the opportunity to share and share the space and include you guys in all of this. So thank you guys for all of your questions, all of your feedback, for just having open ears and open hearts. And we hope to see you guys soon too. So we hope you all have a good night. And Allegra, you let me know if we should just leave, or you're going to end the call.
just thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Love you guys. I appreciate you and sending you love and light and just everybody.
Thank you. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.